Our first one up was corresponding angles, and you guys told me yesterday that that was angle 1 and angle 5. It was angle 2 and angle 6. It was angle 3 and angle 7. And then it was angle 4 and angle 8. And then after that we had alternate interior angles, which we know are angles 2 and 7. And we also had 4 and 5. 4 and 5. Along with that we had alternate exterior angles, and our alternate exterior angles were 1 and 8. And then 3 and 6. Okay, so today we are talking about 3.4, parallel lines and transversals, and your objective at the top of your page is going to be to find congruent angles formed when transversals cut parallel lines. Here we had our first postulate that you guys had, which was corresponding angles. So if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. So remember, we can identify parallel lines by the little arrows on them. After that, we had the alternate interior angle theorem. So if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are congruent. And the alternate exterior angle theorem. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the alternate exterior angles are congruent. The last one, which is the one that is different, the one you don't have yet for today, is if we have same side interior angle theorem. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the same side interior angles are supplementary. What does it mean to be supplementary? Close. Not 90. 180. So remember, supplementary means 180. And so all the rest of them are congruent except for this one type. Okay, so Leah, our first one is find the measure of the numbered angles. So what's the relationship between angle 1 and the 40 degrees angles?
Corresponding angles.
That's correct. They are corresponding.
Hello, Mother.
Core angles. And we know that corresponding angles are what? Congruent. Thank you, Jamal. That was a beautiful voice. I almost wrote Jamal. Okay, so then we know they're congruent. So angle 1's measure has to be 40 degrees. Okay, so you ready for this, Austin?
No.
Okay, so what's the relationship, Austin, of 85 and angle 2? They're both what? They're both corresponding. And we know that corresponding angles are? Congruent. So we know the measure of angle 2 has to be 85. So our last one here for this group is that 96 degrees and angle 3 have what relationship? They're corresponding angles, Chandler. And then what does that mean that one has to be?
96 degrees.
That means the measure of angle 3 has to be 96 degrees. Our first one up here is we have angle 28 degrees, and then we have ABC. So I'm going to highlight angle ABC so you can tell which one we're talking about. What's the relationship between the 28 degrees and the angle ABC? Jamal? They're going to be congruent. How do you know they're congruent? What's the relationship?
Because they correspond, right?
Not corresponding, because corresponding are same position in reference to line.
They're linear pairs.
Not linear pairs either.
They're transversal.
This is a transversal. It's the line that intersects the lines. So they're interior, and then are they on the same side of the line or alternate sides of the line? So they're alternate interior. Nice teamwork.
Come on, man.
Okay, so we know they're alternate interior angles. And we also know that alternate interior angles are congruent. So if they're cutting a parallel line, we know they're congruent. So that means that this measure of angle ABC is also going to be 28 degrees. Okay, here we have ABC as well. If we're talking about angle ABC again, that's the one in red. What's the relationship between the 112 degrees and that ABC angle? Alternate interior. And we know that alternate interior angles are? They're congruent. So the measure of angle ABC is going to be 112 degrees. What's the relationship between ABC and the angle right here with this box that tells us it's a right angle? They're alternate interior. And we know alternate interior angles are what? They're congruent. So we have measure of angle ABC is 90 degrees. Finding the measure of angle 1. What's the reference, or how are they related? Angle 1 and the angle that has 115 degrees. Kayla?
Is it alternate exterior?
They're alternate exterior. So we have alternate exterior. And we know alternate exterior means that they're also going to be congruent. So the measure of angle 1 equals 115 degrees. What is the relationship of angle 1 and angle 2? Not vertical, it's the one you've been saying all day. They're linear pairs.
I didn't know that.
And so we have linear pairs, which means that they're going to add up to what? 180. So we have 180 minus 115, which equals
65 degrees.
65 degrees. Nice job, guys. On this one, angle 1 and the 75-degree angle, what is the relationship? Same side interior. And we know same side interior. Hold on, let me write it out. Same side int. What do we know about same side interior? They're not going to be congruent. They're going to be... They're kind of like that, right? But not exactly. What do we know the measurement of that would be? We know that it's going to be 180. So remember that they're supplementary. It's the only one that's different, which means it's going to be 180. So the measure of angle 1 can be found as 180 minus 75. So the measure of angle 1 is going to be 105 degrees. Okay, our next one up, what is the relationship between 52 and angle 2? Same side interior. And so that's going to be 180 minus 52 equals 100 and what?
128.
128. So the measure of angle 2 is 128 degrees. So the angles here, that 85 degrees and 8x minus 1, what's the relationship? Same side interior. Okay, and we know that means they're going to add up to 180. So we have 85 plus 8x minus 1 equals 180. Okay, we're going to combine like terms on the left-hand side of my equation. So that'd be 85 minus 1, which is?
84.
84 plus 8x equals 180. Okay, we had to get the same term or the same type of terms on the same side. So what am I going to move? We're going to subtract that 84. Okay, so I end up with 8x equals 96. Last step, divide by 8.
12.
X equals 12.